when you can delight in being yourself with your flaws and imperfections. So that's called unconditionally loving who you are with the whole three-year-old heart. This is only a capacity to have self-love if you can use your mind and your body in harmony. So people who remain uninformed in depth on attachment and trauma, that's why they don't know what self-compassion means. They don't know why the good therapy community is informing people of being able to work with their behavior, which should not be pathologized. Thank you, Janina Fisher, but should be supported to be understood. But we have some bad therapists, and bad meaning uninformed. So, ignorance. That's why the Michael Stone scale of evil, 1 to 22, they all need a good therapist. Somebody like a Daniel Siegel, or Peter Levine, or Bezel van der Kolk, or Stephen Porges, or Janina Fisher, or Ruth Lanus, or I don't know, so many come to my mind. Albert Wong from My Somatopia, Sue Martin also from My Somatopia trauma courses, and let's see, Chris from my Awakened Embodied certificate. Okay, so I'm a 5D mystic though, remember, woo-woo lady here. Enlightenment Soul Age group is very possible for those of us who don't have laundry, because again, our actual body is not dirty clothes. Trauma charges are not dirty clothes. It's called I Have Emotions, and I'm a 3-year-old, and I deserve to have anything that I want to come out, because thank you, Mom, I got to be lovingly accepted. Even a cockroach is beautiful to Neapolitan Italian mother. So even if I were the ugliest child alive, I would be unconditionally loved and smothered to death with kisses that my grandpa and my grandma gave me. So I know all about proximity, which is why my body is comfortable with hugging, not to mention the ventral vagal nervous system that gets engaged, which is really nice. There's actually these mechanisms I learned from my trauma courses of how to self-soothe, and I do have panic attacks. So I remember the one about hugging. Oh yeah, I should show this because my listeners don't ever see. This is what I'm talking about on our episodes when I tell you to put one hand under your armpit, the other here, and that activates your ventral vagal nervous system. However, you would want to know if you delight in yourself. If you have a defectiveness shame button, you're going to be like, what is this feeling? I don't want it. And it's not boring. It's that yucky, because that's what self-loathing and let me be treated like a piece of shit happens. So yeah, there's a lot of people, they don't know how to love themselves first. They do know how to support codependent type relationships. We're going to get to that one in a minute. We don't do that. We do 5D relationships, independent. So the mindset is everything. If your perception transcends the limitations of your 5 senses, you are spiritual. Thank you, Sadhguru. We have 8 senses: visual, auditory, gustatory, olfactory, tactile, vestibular, proprioception, interoception. Yes, I have all of those. And when the energies around get activated, mystics, 5D, come on over here so you can disengage from the limited consciousness 4D who are still in duality, but they're in separation because they are still on their journey of Elsa with, unfortunately, they don't know aliveness because they haven't tapped into their prefrontal cortex. So when they have emotions come up, here, they have a window of tolerance, which gets shot into the roof. Clinical dissociation, structural dissociation, pseudo-aliveness is what they live in. I've seen more than one and fair share of 4D mystics who actually are in this. Ruth Lane is the one that taught me this in one of my courses, and it's because I was watching her do this thing. I was like, wow, I know a bunch of people that call people masters, Zen masters, and they don't even notice that that's really, if you're spiritual and they're spiritual, you're all the same, which is why, again, we don't do laundry. And any Zen master saying enlightenment people, it can't be. You must be skeptical. One, you're trying to tell people don't fall for the 7 to 14 charming ones. I would say you might be one of them too, because you apparently don't know how to be in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, because you're calling our body laundry. So let's talk about alchemy and synergy, and why enlightenment the human way is fun. I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality together, which any integrated brain, so a person who has left their chit chatter, this is verbal part, and right, nonverbal. So when I look in your eyes, I'm going to see a beautiful, beautiful person. And that's because I have a higher social engagement system. I have no shame button. Thank you, Mother, again. I love being quirky, and my 3-year-old heart stayed whole. And here's where, if you overflow with humanity, divinity has to descend. Divinity is not an entity, which, again, 4D, they used 5D Christ consciousness in a way of thinking they're anointed. So they're on Elsa's journey without getting to the end and looking at themselves in the mirror. Oh, it's all about me. Let's go back to, again, trauma and attachment information, which people don't have. So when they're dividing masculine and feminine, not only in a tragedy of a relationship that never happens if you have, though, secure attachment. So I should take steps back. Thank you again, Mother. When you get lovingly accepted for who you are, you don't work for love, and you have all your basic emotions being able to come out and fly around and never, ever, ever get humiliated or frightened as a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and you get allowed to be highly sensitive, so you're not shamed into feeling humiliated, okay? So people don't know attachment trauma information. That's why they don't understand when I say I have no shame, because I was never made to feel defective in my implicit memory years or my explicit as an infant and then a child growing up when I would get emotional or super energetic or anything like that. I didn't get like my teacher, Sue Martin. She was doing this thing where a 3-year-old has all this energy and it gets slapped. And as she was doing that, I was starting to get like really sad for all those inner children, because none of those people who don't know emotions, like those of us who have fun, we delight in them. I delight in emotions all the time. Window of welcome. Which is why panic attacks, fear, you bring it on. As long as it's not physical, I'm happy to handle it because I'm grounded in a human being body, which is where 4D, they think they're anointed. And what they don't understand is that martyrs, superiors, and blamers, which turn into squirrels from Cusco land, not only are not pachas, so they don't know how to love. they don't know how to overflow with humanity. They don't know how to love their self first. They get low self-esteem, indirect communicator, passive aggressive, people that don't know how to manipulate even though they think they do, and then they also don't know boundaries because the cancel culture is not emotionally mature, accountable, or aware people. It's all teenagers, Cusco land and squirrel land, which turns into something very different. And so 4D, 3D, they're going to keep on following their ancient silverbacks. For those of us who instead are enlightened and we love to delight in our lovely selves, we know that the cycle to infinite possibilities is only a matter of time, because perseverance, but it's really a type of perseverance that is going to be expansive. Let me, before I keep going forward, your gift, my gift, all of our gifts. So put to the side the 1 to 22 evil scale of Michael Stone. All of those groups of people need good therapists. They're always surrounded. 5D Mystic here. I'm surrounding them all with the good therapist. But they still are part of our same sphere of energy. Because once you move beyond spirituality, Jesus, thank you. He's my spirituality guide. Thank you, Sadhguru. Come on over. He's the next in line, but he's next. The person that led me here is because he walked the walk and talked the talk, and he walked with people. And guess what? He walked with all the people. Apparently, some people forget what it means to walk with all the people, and that he disrupted what was the societal culture and a lot of more. So 4D doesn't do a good job because they're talking about themselves like witches, as if they're living the medieval times, versus being humans who say, we're in a different time. Does anybody know what year it is? 2024. Okay, so let's go to Sadhguru, because on this day I want to thank you and I and all who know that your contribution to the world is you. That how you live, how joyful you are, and everything that you do has an impact, Sadhguru. Now, if you remember the Dalai Lama, he also talks about that when somebody tells him, how dare you smile with all the suffering around? I'm thinking he didn't learn about who the Dalai Lama is. He's an ignorant human being who went to the Dalai Lama and what is wrong? Oh, wait, you're not aware of yourself because you're in your adaptive child who's literally reactive. Your past, your implicit memory and explicit, your child parts are coming out because you're not a grown-up. You don't know how to delight as a 3-year-old and, share the floor. So once you're a grown-up 3-year-old, you know how to share the floor. Let's do this first. Alchemy. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. The frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to new reality. And that's why it's when you have smart people, which is stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, whole 3-year-old hearts who are secure attachment, functional adults, come and join the 5D relationship land. It's a lot fun, a lot more fun. We delight in each other and we support humanity as a whole. We're all inclusive like Jesus was. And that's because we know everybody's flawed and imperfect, but we can work together with our humanity in the forefront. That's why self-love, self-compassion, and knowing how to love each other like Pacha's